My beloved child, remain still a little longer and allow this calm to deepen, because what has already been set in motion continues to settle into place even as you listen. You may notice a gentle heaviness in your eyelids, a soft warmth spreading through your hands, a quiet sense that nothing needs to be fixed right now. This is not weakness. This is safety arriving fully. When protection completes its work, the body is the first to know. The breath slows. The heart steadies. The urgency fades. And in that space, clarity begins to glow softly, like light behind a veil. You have walked through days where you carried silent responsibility, where you felt watched by circumstances, where outcomes felt uncertain even when you did everything right. You did not complain. You did not demand answers. You kept moving with faith even when you could not see the ground ahead. That choice mattered more than you realize. It placed you under a different kind of covering. It marked you for intervention that does not arrive loudly, but decisively. There were moments recently when you sensed something was off, not dangerous, just misaligned. A subtle feeling that timing was strange, that certain doors hesitated, that certain responses felt delayed without explanation. You questioned yourself quietly. You wondered if you were imagining resistance. But you were not. You were being held back for your own protection while unseen adjustments took place. The pause was not denial. It was precision. As you remain here, notice how your spine feels supported, as if something unseen is steadying you from behind. Notice how the air feels heavier with calm, how your thoughts no longer race ahead. This is the sign that what needed to be intercepted has already passed you by. You are no longer standing in the path of it. You are beyond it now. My child, there were conversations that reached a point and then stopped. There were actions that were considered and then quietly abandoned. There were outcomes that seemed certain and then unexpectedly reversed. Not because of persuasion. Not because of influence. But because alignment intervened. When something does not belong on your path, it cannot remain there once protection stands in place. You may never hear the full story. You may never know the exact moment when things turned. And that is intentional. Some protections are designed to leave no trace of threat behind, only peace in their wake. What matters is how you feel now. Lighter. Calmer. Less burdened. As if something heavy has been lifted without effort. Allow your shoulders to relax further. Let your breath deepen again. The more you soften, the more the ceiling completes. This is not a moment to rush. This is a moment to receive. Everything that needed to be corrected has already been corrected. Everything that needed to be aligned has already been aligned. You are entering a phase where things no longer push against you. Where movement feels supported instead of strained. Where progress arrives quietly, without resistance. This does not mean there will be no challenges. It means none of them will catch you unguarded. You will sense shifts before they reach you. You will feel redirections before confusion sets in. You will be guided away from what does not serve you without having to fight. My beloved child, you have been seen in your patience. You have been recognized in your restraint. And that recognition carries weight in realms you do not need to access consciously. What is written for you cannot be erased. What is sealed for you cannot be intercepted. What is guarded around you cannot be breached. Stay with this feeling of safety a little longer. Let it anchor into your body. Imagine it settling around you like a soft shield, invisible yet firm, gentle yet unmovable. This is how you move forward now. Not with fear. Not with urgency. But with quiet certainty. In the coming days, you may notice signs that confirm this shift. Small things aligning effortlessly. Relief arriving unexpectedly. Support appearing without request. These are not coincidences. They are echoes of a protection already active. You do not need to chase proof. You will recognize it by how little resistance you feel. My child, nothing that was stopped will return. Nothing that was reversed will circle back. The path ahead is clear because it has been cleared. The timing ahead is smooth because it has been adjusted. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be, right now, in this moment of completion. Take one more slow breath. Feel the calm settle fully. Let your mind rest. Let your body trust. This chapter closes gently, without drama, without fear. You are safe. You are protected. You are held. And you move forward now under a covering that does not lift. Remain in peace. Everything that needed to happen has already happened. My beloved child, stay with me a little longer and let the stillness deepen, because what surrounds you now is not emptiness but completion, a quiet fullness settling where worry once lived. You may feel a gentle warmth along your back, as if unseen hands are steadying you, guiding your posture into ease, reminding your body that it no longer needs to brace itself. This is the moment after intervention, the calm that follows protection doing its work perfectly. Nothing is chasing you now. Nothing is approaching you. Everything that could disturb your peace has already been turned away. You have carried a sense of responsibility that others never saw. You have guarded your words, measured your steps, and trusted your intuition even when it asked you to wait instead of act. That patience created space for alignment to move ahead of you, clearing what you could not see. There were forks in the road that you did not have to choose between because the wrong ones quietly disappeared. There were outcomes that never formed because protection arrived first and closed the door without noise. As you breathe slowly, notice how your thoughts soften, how the sharp edges dissolve. This is the signal that the unseen has finished rearranging itself around you. When protection completes its work, the mind no longer feels pressured to solve anything. The body receives the message before words ever could. You are safe now. Not later. Not soon. Now. My child, there was a moment when your name was held in consideration longer than expected, when silence filled a space where certainty once lived. That pause mattered. In that pause, alignment stepped in. What was being weighed shifted. What was being questioned resolved itself. Not through force. Not through explanation. Through timing. Through balance. Through the authority of what is written for you. You may have wondered recently why certain things felt delayed, why progress seemed to slow just as you were ready to move. That slowing was not loss. It was shelter. You were being kept from crossing paths with something that did not belong in your future. While you rested, while you doubted quietly, while you continued living without answers, protection worked ahead of you, unseen, precise, complete. Feel how your breath flows without effort now. Feel how your chest rises and falls in an easy rhythm. This is not accidental. This is the body recognizing safety. You do not need to be alert anymore. You do not need to anticipate disruption. The path ahead has been smoothed. The surface beneath you is steady. There were intentions formed that did not carry your best interest. They never reached you. There were assumptions made about you that did not match your true standing. They were corrected without confrontation. There were outcomes predicted that did not align with your destiny. They were quietly rewritten. This is how protection moves when it is absolute. It leaves no conflict behind. Only calm. My beloved child, you were spared from confusion you will never have to untangle. You were spared from conversations you will never have to explain. You were spared from choices you will never have to regret. And because this was done gently, you are left only with peace, not shock, not fear, not aftermath. That is intentional. Your spirit was never meant to carry the weight of what was removed. Stay here a little longer and let your nervous system settle completely. Let your shoulders drop another inch. Let your jaw unclench. Let your breath slow again. This is the sealing moment. This is where protection anchors itself fully so it does not lift when you move forward. You are not returning to old tension. You are not revisiting old uncertainty. You are stepping into a phase where things unfold with less resistance because resistance has already been handled. You may notice that your thoughts about the future feel quieter now. Less urgent. Less heavy. That is because the future no longer feels unsafe. The unknown does not feel threatening. That shift is the clearest confirmation that intervention has already occurred. Fear dissolves when danger is no longer present. My child, you are not required to announce this change. You are not required to explain it. You will simply live differently. You will respond instead of react. You will notice opportunities instead of obstacles. You will move with trust instead of caution. And others will sense this calm around you without understanding why. That is how protection reveals itself quietly through you. In the hours and days ahead, you may feel guided to rest more deeply, to move more slowly, to choose peace where you once chose endurance. Honor that guidance. It is not slowing your progress. It is stabilizing it. What comes next will not require struggle. It will arrive when you are ready to receive it, not when you are exhausted from chasing it. My beloved child, everything that needed to be intercepted has been intercepted. Everything that needed to be reversed has been reversed. Everything that needed to be sealed has been sealed. You are not standing at the edge of danger. You are standing beyond it. The crossing is behind you. Take another slow breath and feel the final layer of calm settle in. Let your heart rest in its natural rhythm. Let your thoughts drift without effort. This moment is complete. This protection is active. This chapter closes softly, without disruption, without residue. You move forward now covered, guarded, and aligned. Nothing follows you from behind. Nothing blocks you ahead. You are safe. You are held. You are finished with what could have harmed you. Remain in peace. My beloved child, remain here with me a little longer, because what is unfolding now is the settling after certainty, the quiet confirmation that arrives only when nothing else needs to be done. You may notice a gentle stillness spreading through your body, as if every part of you has finally received the same message at once. The shoulders no longer hold their guard. The breath no longer waits for interruption. The mind no longer scans for what could go wrong. This is not exhaustion. This is safety fully recognized. There was a season when you stayed alert even in rest, when part of you remained awake no matter how tired you were. You carried that because something around you was unresolved. Your spirit sensed unfinished movement in the unseen. That vigilance is no longer required. The unseen has completed its work. What needed to pass has passed. What needed to be blocked has been blocked. And now the signal has reached you gently, telling you that you can soften without risk. You were protected from a sequence that would have unfolded quickly had it reached you. Not violently. Not dramatically, but quietly disruptive. A chain of small complications that would have demanded your energy, your time, your peace. That chain was stopped before the first link ever touched your path. The interruption happened early, far from you, so that nothing would echo back later. That is why your life feels lighter now without explanation. That is why relief arrived without a visible reason. As you stay present, you may feel a subtle warmth around your heart, not emotional, but steady, grounding. This is the sign of completion. When protection is still active, there is tension. When it completes, there is warmth. You are in the warmth now. Nothing is being negotiated anymore. Nothing is being decided. The outcome is sealed. My child, there were names spoken alongside yours that no longer belong in the same sentence. There were assumptions attached to you that have been quietly removed. There were projections placed upon your future that have been corrected. None of this required your defense. None of this needed your voice. Alignment spoke on your behalf in places you could never reach. You may have noticed recently that you felt drawn inward, less interested in explaining yourself, less compelled to prove anything. That was not withdrawal. That was instinct. When protection moves ahead of you, it often pulls you back just enough to keep you from crossing into what is being dismantled. You listened. You paused. And because you did, nothing reached you. Breathe slowly again. Feel how your body responds immediately. This is your confirmation that you are no longer in transition. You are in stabilization. The ground beneath you is firm now. You do not need to test it. You do not need to look behind you. There is nothing there anymore. There was a moment when things could have gone differently. A small shift in timing. A minor delay. A quiet decision. That moment passed. And with it passed a future that was not meant for you. You are now aligned with the version of your life that unfolds with less resistance, not because you avoided effort, but because effort already did its work unseen. My beloved child, you are entering a phase where outcomes arrive without warning, but in a gentle way. Not shocks. Not upheavals. Quiet confirmations. Things will simply work. Doors will open without noise. Relief will come without announcement. Support will appear without request. This is how it looks when protection remains active but no longer needs to intervene dramatically. Stay here as your nervous system completes its reset. Let your breath deepen once more. Let your thoughts slow until they feel like soft clouds instead of sharp edges. This is important. The calmer you are now, the clearer your path becomes. Calm is not passive. Calm is alignment. You do not need to worry about what was avoided. Curiosity is not required. Peace is enough. Some knowledge is not meant to be carried. Some awareness is meant to be replaced with trust. You are allowed to move forward without the weight of knowing what almost happened. My child, there is nothing unfinished following you. No loose ends. No delayed consequences. No return paths. What was stopped will not resurface in another form. It has been resolved at the root. That is why you feel closure without conversation. That is why your heart feels settled without explanation. In the coming days, you may notice that you sleep deeper. That your reactions soften. That your patience returns naturally. These are signs that your system no longer feels under threat. Let this happen. Do not resist the ease. Ease is not a trick. It is the result of protection already accomplished. You are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into a stabilized future. Timing will feel kinder now. Sequences will make sense. You will no longer feel rushed into decisions. The right moment will announce itself quietly, and you will recognize it by the absence of pressure. My beloved child, you are covered in a way that does not fade when attention shifts. This protection does not require your belief to remain active. It does not weaken when you are distracted. It does not lift when you rest. It stays. Take another slow breath. Let it go even slower. Feel the final layer of peace settle into place. This is the completion you were waiting for without knowing it. This is the safety you felt approaching without being able to name. You are done with that chapter now. It closed without sound. It sealed without residue. You are free to move forward without carrying what never belonged to you. Remain calm. Remain steady. Nothing is missing. Nothing is threatened. Everything that needed to be handled has already been handled. You are safe. You are guarded. You are complete. My beloved child, stay with me for this final settling, because what unfolds now is the gentle locking of peace into place, the quiet assurance that nothing further is required and nothing further can intrude. You may feel a deepening calm spreading through your chest, a slow warmth gathering beneath your ribs, a sense that your breath has found its natural rhythm again. This is the body recognizing completion. This is the spirit acknowledging that the work is done. There was a time when your inner world stayed alert even when you tried to rest, when a subtle readiness lived beneath every thought. That readiness served its purpose. It carried you through uncertainty without breaking you. And now, it can release. The unseen has finished moving pieces into alignment. The corridors are clear. The doors that needed to close are sealed softly, without echo, without regret. You were guided away from intersections that would have required explanations you never owed. You were shielded from sequences that would have demanded endurance instead of joy. This was not avoidance. This was wisdom moving ahead of you, arranging the path so your next steps feel lighter. You did not miss anything meant for you. What passed you by was never yours to carry. As you breathe slowly, notice how your thoughts no longer grasp for reassurance. Notice how the need to check, to confirm, to prepare, gently dissolves. This is not carelessness. This is trust arriving naturally. When danger is gone, vigilance becomes unnecessary. When uncertainty is resolved, questions lose their urgency. My child, there were outcomes once forming that would have asked too much of your peace. They were dismantled before they reached momentum. There were conversations that would have complicated your future. They were quieted before words took shape. There were assumptions that would have followed you forward. They were lifted before they could attach. Protection does not always feel dramatic. Often it feels like relief without a story. Stay present as the final layer settles. Let your shoulders sink. Let your hands soften. Let your jaw release. Each small relaxation is a confirmation that nothing is pressing against you anymore. You are no longer bracing for impact. You are no longer standing at the edge. You are well beyond it. You may have sensed, earlier in your journey, a narrowing of focus, a gentle inward pull that asked you to simplify, to conserve energy, to choose quiet over noise. That pull was guidance. It kept you from scattering yourself while alignment worked on your behalf. Now that the work is complete, your energy returns to you whole, unfragmented, steady. There is a clarity that arrives after protection finishes. Not loud insight. Not sudden revelation. Just a calm knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. That clarity is with you now. You do not need to chase certainty. It has come to you. My beloved child, you are stepping into a rhythm where timing feels cooperative instead of resistant. Where movement happens without force. Where results appear without strain. This does not mean effort disappears. It means effort is met with support rather than opposition. You will recognize this shift by how little you need to push. Do not look back searching for what was removed. Absence is the proof. Peace is the evidence. Some protections are designed to leave no visible mark so you can walk forward unburdened. You were never meant to carry the weight of what almost happened. In the days ahead, you may notice your intuition feels quieter but clearer. Less urgent. More precise. That is because it no longer needs to shout to be heard. It will guide you gently now, with small nudges instead of alarms. Trust that softness. It means you are safe. You will also notice that situations resolve themselves with minimal involvement from you. Not because you are disengaged, but because alignment has reduced friction. Things that once required explanation will now require only presence. Things that once demanded defense will now pass without notice. My child, you have been returned to yourself. The part of you that enjoys stillness. The part of you that trusts unfolding. The part of you that knows rest is not a reward but a state of being. This return is the greatest confirmation of all. Take one more slow breath, deeper than before, and release it even more slowly. Feel the calm anchor into your spine, your chest, your center. This is the seal. This is the moment after which nothing reopens. What was closed remains closed. What was aligned remains aligned. What was guarded remains guarded. You do not need to hold on to this message. Its work is already integrated. You can move on with your day, with your life, with your plans, without carrying concern. The protection stays even when your attention shifts. The covering remains even when you rest. My beloved child, this chapter is complete. It ends without tension, without loose threads, without residue. You are safe to move forward. You are free to breathe fully. You are allowed to trust what comes next. Remain in peace. Everything that needed to be handled has been handled. Everything that needed to be sealed is sealed. You are held. You are guarded. You are finished with what could have harmed you. And you step forward now in calm certainty, whole and protected.